Hello YouTube. Hello, Ethan Scotty. Welcome back to a new video. Now today I'm starting something new. I am going to make a hammer. More specifically, this is whittled. Now it's a technique using a knife, like so. Now what I've done is that I've gone and basically done this all the way around off camera because it's a pain in the ass. Absolute pain. There's a lot of time and kneading into it. Now let's just hope you don't see it. Yep. Oh, fuck. And I've done it to this one as well. So this is going to be a handle. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a middle. I'm going to balance it. Now you can see there, I have not taken enough off, so I'll just go like that, like that, like that. Now originally, it looked like this. It looked like this. Now this is walnut. This has got a walnut tree literally outside. This is walnut. And yeah, we basically just went round and did this. Now off camera, I finished this one completely. I did the handle to the best of my ability. And you leave this out to cure for a day, which I've done. Well, the head is about a week old. The handle is about an hour old. And all I've done is gone like that all along for it all. So that's one complete task. Now let's drill this. So I'll put this in the find the middle. Demonstration purposes, we'll do it right here. Now how big is that? Now what I'm doing now is I'm just making a flat spot. Now all these things you're going to see lately are made by a knife. A future project is me making this small one here. I'm going to show you guys how to make one of those. A way better one of these than you see there. That will be in this episode, I think. Let's just see if we've got the resources for that. Yeah, I've got that. And I've got the handle there. Yeah, I can do it in this episode. Now, once you've found the middle and made a square like that, you go to your vise. I'm using a steel vise. I do not suggest to do this. So I am going to show you what to do when you've got a steel vise and you don't want to damage your wood. If I can find the fucking thing. Where is it? There it is there. You use what you call a bit of leather. For me, it's my draw knife cover. That's the draw knife if you were asking. I'm using my draw knife cover, which is pure leather. So you put that in the vise like so. Then you put that around it like so. Now for me, I'm not going to do this the whole way. And I'm going to be using a very old drill. This is a Black & Decker D720 3/8, whatever. Now I'm going to find the middle of that. Now I suggest turn your headphones down for this, because I don't want you guys to lose your hearing, unlike me. And away we go. Now when you've got it, when you're drilling the hole, for me, I am using a 19 hole bit, which is something like that. That's what I'm using. Now I've taken my leather thing out because what I'm going to show you to do, if you don't have the luxury of leather and a wood binder's vice, or even a woodworker's vice, if you don't have the luxury of that, I'll show you what you'll do afterwards. So now let's continue. I suggest turn your headphones down for this, because it's loud for me off camera. Now for me, that's done. So now I can take that off camera. Now what I've done is I've just made a hole straight through, and if you've got some stuff on the edges like I've just got, because this was just chopped today, this wood. Today, and I need to sharpen this thing. Okay, and also you probably see me sharpen this thing, the knife today as well, if you see that. Now I'll show you how to sharpen this knife. Now what I'm using is a strop. You can use stones, you can use wood. I've even seen guys use grinders. But be careful if you're using a grinder, because it'll fuck your knife big time. Now what you do is you put it on the edge. For me, I just go like this. I just go like that. And I do that so many times. They recommend 50 times. For me, I recommend as many times as you've got and as much time as you spend and have. For me, I don't have much time because I'm doing a video, obviously, so I'm just going to do that. Now, when it's right, is because when it goes through paper like this. Or, as I've seen guys do, oh god, it's cold. Oh, my hands are cold. Cold. Now what I've seen guys do is use the old hair technique. Which, do I even have my ear? Yeah, I got hair on my arm. Now, I've just seen guys go like this. Now for me, that's telling me it's not very sharp at all. But it's still sharp enough to raise. It's still sharp enough. Now you see, that shows you that it's sharp enough. Now back on. Now, what I'm going to do and show you guys is I'm going to show you the start process with that small hammer there, because it's small. This is not very small at all. This is actually quite big. Now, these can be most commonly used for hitting things in. Like this here, I'm going to be using in this video. I'm going to be using this to hit this into this. Now I'll show you that now. See, I line it up. Now, for me, that is comfortable. So I've lined it up. Now I'm just going to hit it. And if it doesn't fit first time around, like it just did for me, I would flip it round and see if it fits in this way around. Nope. So now that I know that this end here is bigger than this one here, so this is why I'm going to flip it over. Nope. they both don't fit, so now I'm going to just shave off some from here. So now if it gets too small, that's still good. It's better too small than too big. For me, I made it too big. Okay, still too big, I think. Oh no. It's going in slowly. Yeah, it's going in. Now, that's all the way through. Now I've got an extra hammer to use. See that? Now I'll show you how to make a small one. Now when you've used it a couple times, like this hammer over here, it gets munted. That's the purpose. And when it gets munted, munted a bit. When it gets munted like that, you can just grab your knife and just go around it and chop all that berm off. Now because my knife is sharp, I can do this easily. But if you don't have the luxury of a sharp knife, and you've got the luxury of sandpaper, use sandpaper. Now, I'm just going to do this quickly. I'm just going to round my edges. We're still recording. Yep. Wait, what? Yep. Now you get the image. I'm going to complete that off camera. Now I'm going to go and grab my head for my hammer. Okay, so this is going to be now this is original. This is how it was. Now I'm going to chop it into a section where we can manage, because this is way too big for a hammerhead that big. Now I clamp it in the vise, like so, and I obviously chop it off. Like so. Now chuck it in your wood bucket ready for burning. Now once you've done that, now remember guys, do not leave any bits of big wood like this laying on the ground. You'll roll your ankle like there's no tomorrow. Now, this is a big version of this. This is going to be this, which is going to be a small version. Now once you've seen me cut that, I'm going to cut the other handle. Now, if you get something with something like that, you can go round it. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to clamp it in the vise and cut it. Like so. Now I'm going to just put something over these here. Something like this. No, wait, I'm just going to do that. Something like that. That will do. Just for now. Now once that's done, you want to take it out of your vise and put it back in and saw the end off of it. Now I would never leave this bit of wood like on the ground like I just did. I chuck it in this bucket which is over here, which is this burnt bucket right here, full of wood. Now it's full of oak at the moment, but which is big bits like this. This is the oak that I've got, which is going to be soon turned in once I've got my website updated, which is a work in progress. Now I'm just going to leave this handle roughly done. Oh, for fuck's sake. What did I pick up with this gnarly? here to show you guys how fucked up I am. Now, once you've done this, what I'm doing is I'm going around and just chopping this end into the right size I want. Now I suggest to move your strop away from this, because it's, if you accidentally hit it, like my strop at the moment is 188 years old. Found it in an old antique store. Like most of the shit I buy, and most of the shit I've got actually, is at it from the antique shop. The antique shop I got them from was Arthur's Antiques. Now I'm probably going to be copyright claimed. Wonderful. But I bought them for about, that there was $30. $30 NZ dollars. Which is roughly US, which is roughly about about 19 US dollars. No, actually it's 27 US dollars. And which is a pretty good deal if you think about it. My draw knife there was free because I got given that. But this knife that I'm using at the moment was about 100 and... Oh no, wait, this is the wrong knife. This knife I'm using was free as well, I got given it. The knife that's at Poppy's was about $27, down from $50, from Hunting and Fishing, which was a pretty good deal. It was a Christmas deal. I'll show you guys that in the future, but that's future. It's a pretty good knife, keeps its blade. But the one thing I can definitely say about this one is that this nut here comes loose and it wiggles, which is not fun when you're actually working and you tend to go like that and it just undoes itself. Now that I've done that much, I can now start working on this. Now with this, I put it up to my chest like that, guide it, and it should come off in strands. Like so. Now if you're a beginner, I suggest never to do this. But because I've got 6 years practice, actually no, I've been doing this my whole life, so if you've got whole life practice like me, go straight ahead, do what you want to do. But it should come off in strands like that, but depending on the size of wood, like for me, the handle that I was doing before, that I showed you, the strands were pretty big. I'm just searching my work floor at the moment. They were coming off in strands like that. Now, when you're getting strands like that off it, that means you're good. You've got your hand control very well done. Now, you never want to have your hand like this. Guess in the comments why. I'm not going to tell you just yet. Because when you got your hand like this, I'll give you a little hint. And that's what happens. So that's why I suggest to have your hands back here. And if you're a beginner and you want to be very stupid, and you want to really be the man, and you want to do this bare, like for me, I've got 3 layers on. I've got 3 layers on because A, it's cold out here, B, I don't want to be cut, and C, it's comfortable. Okay, don't judge. I lived over in Australia for 6 years. And now I'm over in New Zealand, South Island, which is cold. Now that once you've done that, you start to work, and if you do slip, I am not covered, so don't sue me for this. But if you slip while you're watching this video, I am not responsible for you, so don't blame it on me. But I've warned you, so just don't. But if you do slip, and it's majorly, and if it talks, if the cut's big enough, and you use your fingers to spread it, and if it opens and closes, that's called talking. So if it talks, go straight to the hospital. Or if it's if it's just a little nick, just get duct tape, gaffer tape, whatever the fuck you guys call tape over here. The really good stuff tape. You just grab some of that and wrap it around your finger. But if it's really small, you just man up and just continue life as is. It's coming up in 20 minutes. There has to be 2 parts to this. Now, once you've done this, once you've done that, like for me, I've left that there open because I'm going to do a part 2 of this. Once you've done that, once you've done this, you grab the drill. You grab the drill and you drill a hole straight through it. Yeah, straight through it. And once you've done that, I'll show you. Basically the same process as the other one. So this is me signing out for once. So I'll see you guys later. See you in the next video. Okay guys, goodbye.